Welcome to PodcastOne. We hope you'll support our sponsors who bring you these podcasts absolutely free and with limited interruptions. And of course, we appreciate you listening to this show, which will get started in just a second.
The Steve Austin Show is sponsored in part this week by DDP Yoga. You know, on this show, we got a lot of famous athletes and celebrities sometimes, but this is a story about a regular person. Her name is Erica, and thanks to DDP Yoga, she now has an amazing and inspiring story to tell. Erica had struggled with weight her entire life, and she was ridiculed as a teenager, and she tried to end her own life. Later, Erica got married, had kids, but lost everything in a house fire one day. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but 10 days later, Erica lost her job. Despite her poor health and state of being, she knew she had to be a better example for her kids. Inspired by the numerous videos of DDP Yoga success stories, Erica started the program and managed to get her nutrition and health under control. And after dedicating herself to DDP Yoga, Erica, who started out weighing 326 pounds, was able to lose 160 pounds. DDP Yoga can work for all ages, weight, and fitness levels. It provides a tremendous cardio workout with minimal joint impact. So don't wait. Go to ddpyoga.com/Austin and check out all the great deals DDP has for listeners of the Steve Austin Show. There's also the DDP Yoga Now app for working out on the go, available on iOS and Android. And if you're in the UK, meet Diamond Dallas Page as he goes on his DDP Yoga UK tour. There are dates from September 8th to September 18th. So get all the details by going to ddpuktour.com. Once again, go to ddpyoga.com/Austin and be on your way to not only changing your life, but owning your life. And that's the bottom line, because I said so.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angleez, California today. I got a one-man cluster muck for you today, and my wife joins in on the process. Got a couple of stories. Hey, man, a couple of things to take care of real quick. The new PodcastOne app is now available for download at the App Store or Google Play. And there ain't another podcast app like this one anywhere, and that's because the new PodcastOne app is loaded with some cool features that lets you do a lot more than just listen to your favorite shows. You can access behind-the-scenes photos, articles, and connect with other fans of the shows you like. And you can watch over 1,000 360 virtual reality videos. You can actually watch some of your favorite shows in virtual reality. It's like you're sitting right there in the room with them. So get to the App Store or Google Play and download the new PodcastOne app now. All right, folks. My guest today is myself and my wife sitting here shooting the breeze at 317 Gimmick Street. Hey, Callie, come on in. Callie just came in, my 6.5-month-old puppy. I tell you what, I took her to the gym with me yesterday, and I'm trying to train Callie up into being my new gym dog. Because if you used to listen to the podcast, or if you still listen to the podcast, or you listen from day one, you all know every time I'd go to the gym, I'd take Hershey the Wonder Dog with me. And it has been interesting, training by myself. I'm used to doing that. But I tell you what, I still wish I had a dog to take to the gym with me. So I took Callie yesterday. She did fine. I took a bully stick, a tennis ball, and a paper bowl to put some water in for her. And she did just fine until I got on the treadmill. Callie, where you going? Come over here. Boy, I tell you what, you talk about a ball of energy. If I could get a transfusion and get a pint of that dog's blood put into my system, I'd probably feel like I was 25 years old again. Son of a gun, that dog has some energy. She's turning into being a pretty good dog. I put her in the car yesterday, an SUV, rode to the gym. She jumped up in the car by herself, jumped out by herself. She didn't whine while we was going down the road. She conducted herself in a pretty good fashion while we was at the gym. The only part that confused her was when I got on the treadmill and I was just kind of walking. I wasn't even running. And she was wondering what was going on. And while I was on the treadmill, she'd either stand there and just kind of almost put her chin on the treadmill, or she'd walk in the other room. The gym that I go to, if it's not my backyard, the one that I go to because it has air conditioning, because we're in the middle of a heat wave, there's a couple of offices in there. And there's no door, so she can walk in all those offices. And she would leave, and when she would leave, I just kind of go, with my mouth, and man, because she can hear so good, she'd come running back in there, or I'd whistle for her, and she'd come running back. And then she'd venture back off again, look at those office rooms. And I was thinking, once I got home, because I didn't know anything that had went wrong, my wife, Kristin, asked me, she goes, you know what, you took Callie to the gym, but you said she was going into those other rooms, those offices. Did she take a dump? And I'm like, oh, man, it was Sunday. Today's Labor Day. It's a holiday. But Tuesday, if those people go to work and Callie was in one of those offices and she was behind those walls where I could not see her and she took a dump and I didn't see it and wasn't able to clean it up, holy smokes, that is not going to be good. So anyway, I called my buddy to go over to the gym, the guy that owns it, and he went over and checked, and Callie didn't take a dump in the office, so all's good as there. If y'all are listening to my microphone, you heard the beep from my computer. Someone sent me a text message. Chalk It Up is another beer that I owe every single person that listens to this podcast. I'm going to go belly up, broke, have to take out a second mortgage on my house, whatever it's going to take to buy all the beers that I owe everybody. Nonetheless, holy crap, what a weekend it has been. California's on fire. The floodwaters down in Texas are still horrendous. People are still in wherever they can be housed. Water levels are high. Everything's still in a state of disarray. God dang, shout out to everybody who's out there helping. Shout out to J.J. Watt, who has been able to raise so much money on his Twitter account, and J.J. Watt and the organization that he's dealing with the Houston Texans. And that's been an unbelievable effort. It's going to be quite some time, really months and years before that place heals up. I talked to Ted Fowler 361 for about 40 minutes a while ago, and he was telling me how slow the process is moving down there in Rockport, and just, it wasn't a pleasant conversation. There's lots of animals that are getting found now, stuff that are smelling things up. I mean, the human lives are going to be untold. I mean, still until, all the water recedes and, the process continues. But Rockport was just rocked over there, and people are trying to decide, do they rebuild? Are they going to sell? Are they going to move? Are they going to stay? It's just still a crucial time over there. That whole Gulf Coast region is still in recovery, and they will be for a long time. Red Cross is obviously open for donations. Anybody can afford anything, or it's, $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever, if you can help out in any way, shape, or fashion. This isn't a plug for Red Cross. Some people don't trust them. I don't see any reason why you can't. But nonetheless, if you want to kick in, the people down there still need a lot of help in the South Texas region. California's on fire. Other than that, man, it's everything just keeps moving forward. I finally recovered from filming the Broken Skull Challenge. My neck and my legs and my arms are still crimson colored. My head is still crimson colored. I look like a lobster. It is beyond red. I thought after now 2 weeks of filming that I would return to my normal albino skin color. It's almost like everything is tattooed purple, and that is the color of my skin. But nonetheless, let's get into the business here. I haven't sat down with the microphone and just shot the breeze and told stories in a while on the Family Friendly show. So I think I'll drop a couple of S words, no F-bombs. My wife joins me in the conversation. God dang, you talk about headaches and hassles with her mom and some air conditioning. And my wife does a pretty good impersonation of her mother, but she wasn't full-blown. But when she tells a story, God dang, it's funny, but when you're over here living this side of it, it's frustrating, to say the least. But anyway, hey, man, let's get on with the business here. I got a podcast to do. Sitting there shooting the breeze at 317, Gimmick Street with my wife. Shout out to everybody in South Texas and Louisiana who are still fighting through all the struggles. It's a very tough time for people down there. And shout out to the people out here in California that are losing and trying to get out of the way of that fire that's just burning. I don't know how that thing started, but when I first heard about that fire, I was thinking, okay, it's a fire. They're just going to put it out. No, you don't just put out a fire that is this severe so easy. thing has taken a life of its own and just, it's devastation. It's like, I don't know which one's worse, fire or water. And vast amounts, they're both hard to overcome. It's like, well, what's the lesser of two evils? But on the other hand, I mean, they're good in the right dose, but too much, nothing but hassle, big hassle that you can't contend with. Mother Nature is too powerful for man. Anyway, my wife and me are shooting the breeze on the podcast. Before I get to that conversation, let me fill you in on MyBookie. MyBookie.ag has been the number one rated online sports action site for 3 straight years. With the new NFL season starting this week, you can join thousands of online players and start betting at MyBookie. MyBookie has in-game live betting, the most rewarding player perks in the business, and an all-new, best-in-class mobile website that makes wagering on the go a breeze. And unlike some other websites you might find, MyBookie offers fast, no-hassle payouts when you win. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 100% bonus. Use the promo code Austin to activate this special offer. Visit mybookie.ag today or call 844-900-BETS. Expert or rookie, you got to check out MyBookie. Sign up today and use the promo code Austin to activate the special offer.
Here at PodcastOne, we love hearing from you. We read every tweet and comment you send our way, so don't miss your chance to take our summer listener survey. Just go to PodcastOne.com and click on the survey banner, or go to PodcastOne.com/mysurvey. It only takes a few minutes, and it gives you the opportunity to make a direct impact on your favorite shows. Tell us how you really feel, so we can get to know you better. We value your thoughts and participation, so check out the survey at PodcastOne.com/mysurvey, or click on the survey banner on PodcastOne.com.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
All right, I'm sitting over at 317 Gimmick Street with my illustrious wife, Kristin, sitting right across the table from me. She's got finished doing her workout. It's Labor Day as I record this podcast. I ain't picked up a microphone and just shot the breeze for about an hour, so that's what I figured I was going to do today. I got a couple of BS stories. I got to watch the language here. It's a family-friendly show. Got a couple of BS stories to tell, things I've written down on my iPhone, and Kristin's got a couple of stories, and hopefully she will channel her mother's voice, because when she goes into her mother's voice, you could do voiceovers. I swear to God, it's funny as hell. I don't know if it'd be funny as a podcast, but it's funny as hell when you watch her do it and you listen to her do it, because I know her mother. Kristin, glad to see your smiling face. Welcome back to Steve Austin Show. How was traffic? How was the workout? Did you get a swell on?
Yeah, I got my swell on, Steve, and the traffic is it's steady today. I thought it would be a lot faster getting to the gym, but no, there's a lot of beachgoers out there and a lot of people on vacation and heading to the airport, ending their 3-day trip to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think that's the problem about, we used to live in Malibu, and I thought, when we bought a house in Malibu a couple of years ago, it'd be cool because,
it was
you're
10
not really
years
in
ago.
the city. You're not in the city, and so you don't really put up with traffic.
Right.
But Malibu was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun at all. And the problem was, during the summer, just like it is right now, if you was trying to get somewhere, you got smoked because Pacific Coast Highway was just clogged up with people trying to get to the beach. It's the same thing with where we live right here, right now in Marina Del Rey. We're 1.1 miles from the water. Here's the thing. I don't give a rat's about the water. My wife, if she could, she'd go to the beach every day because she loves the beach and she loves people watching and being in the water. But God dang, it's a pain in when all these people from different parts of the city, or all these people come from LAX because they're coming to SoCal for their vacation, come down there and go to the beach, because that's when it clogs up the traffic. And it's a pain in the ass to go to any store, go to the gym, because there's so many people out here.
There's a lot of people out here. I think everybody wants to take a vacation to LA, and they always want to come to the beach. So,
well, you got to see the beach. I mean, you got to see and
the ocean's
Santa
beautiful.
Monica Pier, the Venice Pier, the Venice Boardwalk. I just told my cousin Greg came down from New Braunfels, Texas. Shout out to everybody out there in Texas. Hopefully all the flood victims and all the headaches, hassles, and everything goes with Hurricane Harvey. It's a long way from being over. I just got off the phone with Ted Fowler 361. I'll talk about that. But they came all the way down here to watch Texas A&M play the UCLA Bruins. And we were doing work yesterday at the house, and my wife says, "Hey, man, the football game's about to start." And she goes, "Aren't you going to watch the game?" I said, "Well, I'm not just a gigantic Texas A&M fan, although my niece goes to school at Texas A&M. My cousin played tight end at Texas A&M, and my nephew Neil wants to go to Texas A&M. So we got a lot of history over there. and the UCLA program, it's a UCLA program. I'm more of an SEC guy, but I respect that program. I said, no, it's Sunday. I didn't get a chance to watch enough college football on Saturday. And with professional football, it's still in preseason. Preseason sucks. So I said, all right, I'll turn the game on. So my wife's doing work in the background and cooking, getting ready for a meal. And we're going to bust out the Traeger Grill. Oh, man, I got a couple of stories about that Traeger Grill.
Yeah,
my wife tried to cook a pizza on that thing, and it didn't work out so well. So anyway, we start casually watching the game. And Texas A&M just comes out of the gate, and they just start beating the crap out of UCLA, scoring at will. Their running backs, Travion Williams, whatever his name is, has over 200 yards. Ford had 147 or something like that. And they were just decimating UCLA. And then UCLA's prize quarterback, the chosen one, Josh Rosen, is just getting hammered. He took a blind side hit, just got crushed by one of the defensive players for Texas A&M, and they're just getting throttled. At halftime, hell, what was it, 34-10? 34-10, or 30-10, whatever. I remember when they third quarter rolled around, they started scoring that touchdown. I said, it reminded me just a little bit. I would never guess what was going to happen, what ended up happening. I said, hey, man, maybe the game's going to turn around here. And then UCLA kept scoring points. And then finally they got to 21. And I was thinking, okay, this is just going to be an interesting game because UCLA may score one more touchdown, but, there's no way that they're going to come back from this kind of deficit. And A&M will end in a nail-biter. Man, all of a sudden they scored that one touchdown and made it like a 6-point game or whatever it was before they scored that final touchdown, which was a fake spike, floated over to the left side of the end zone. The UCLA receiver makes a hellacious catch, and they tied the game up, and me and my wife looked at each other. It was such an unbelievable comeback. It was almost emotional, and I'm not even invested in the UCLA program, but just because it was such a hellacious effort by them making, second half adjustments. Jim Mora, who's on the hot seat, Kevin Sumlin's in the hot seat. Here's history with Kevin Sumlin. Going back, I guess he was still coaching for A&M. I think this was, or maybe he had just started with University of Houston. It was pre-Texas A&M. I was there at Papa's Brothers Steakhouse having steak dinner with Pat Patterson, The Rock, and someone else was there prior to our match. And Kevin Sumlin came over to our table, and we got a chance to talk to him and say hello and all that stuff. And, boy, all of a sudden, they scored that touchdown, tied up the game. Here comes the guy that kicks the point after, and he nails it straight through the goal post. And then I think Texas A&M had 45 seconds left on the clock. And they couldn't do anything with it. And a great tackle by UCLA stopping that guy on a 4th and whatever. They had to make the first down on that with 20 seconds left to go. God dang, what a comeback. Well, it was spectacular, wasn't it?
It was spectacular, and it was jaw-dropping. And I really enjoyed watching it because it was you felt UCLA deserved to win after that.
Oh, they did. And here's the thing. It wasn't a game that – Texas A&M lost because, all of a sudden they started, screwing up and making mistakes. It was a game that UCLA won. Now, there was a couple of lucky streaks in there because the one pass to the end zone went right through the Texas A&M defensive back's hands, and then the UCLA receiver, kept his focus and concentration on the football, so he ended up catching it for a touchdown pass. And then the one awesome throw across the field under extreme pressure, Josh Rosen just throws up a prayer, and the receiver comes down with that one. So there was a couple of lucky plays, but that was a game that after they got pummeled in the first half, UCLA actually just mounted that comeback and started playing their brand of football. And you would have never seen, by the way, that A&M was dominating them physically. I mean, just manhandling. They looked like a D2 school going against these just an NFL program. And then all of a sudden, by the time halftime comes back out and they start slowly turning that thing around as a momentum change, and me and my wife, we were sitting there just like, we're going like crazy. It can't be. There's no way this is going to happen. And it's like, we talked about it for the rest of the night.
Right.
And I would look it up I would Google UCLA comeback or UCLA Texas A&M football game to see all the different articles to see how people were spinning it up. It was spectacular. What a win. It was one of the best games I've seen. Well, people were comparing it to the same type lead that the Falcons had over the Patriots in the Super Bowl when we watched that last year. But it was at the college level. and it was spectacular.
And, of course, you had to rub it in to Neil.
Oh, man. Y'all heard my nephew Neil on a podcast a few weeks ago, months ago, whenever it was, and that kid is so gung-ho over there at Grenada High School, and he's already getting credits to go over to A&M, and my niece was she a junior?
Yeah.
My niece is a junior over Texas A&M, and they're just, it's a great, great school. And one of our vets that saved Hershey's life back when she had pancreatitis came from Texas A&M, Dr. Clayton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Texas A&M is a great school, and I had to rub it into Neil. I sent him a text message because Kristin was texting with Neil, and she says, man, UCLA deserves to win this game. And this is about the 3-4 minute mark left in the game. And then finally the game was over, and I texted Neil. I said, Neil, God dang, my satellite went out right before the game was over. What was the final score? I started busting his chops. And he says, Uncle Steve, I hate you. Don't talk to me for the rest of the year. He was ribbing, of course. But God dang, if you didn't see that game, if you can get a chance to look it back, that'll be my thing to watch at the end of the podcast. Go check out the Texas A&M UCLA game from 2017. Absolutely off the charts. And for as highly touted as Josh Rosen was, he had that badass freshman year, and this was his first competitive football game in 11 months, coming back from the injury, soft tissue shoulder repair. For that kid to come out there, and I think he's had a few moments as far as his history there at UCLA, which haven't been the greatest things that he's done or said. But, man, what a lights-out performance. Seems like a great kid, and we'll see how the squad holds together. It's only one win. It's a long season.
Right.
But you talk about an epic win, and I tell you what, for Jim Moore just saying, hey, believe in the program, don't give up, and play 60 minutes of football. And this is one of those cases, just like the Patriots did to the Seahawks back in the day. This was one of those deals, you just keep playing football until 60 minutes is over. Anyway, so we love that game, and that was one of the highlights of our weekend. One of the lowlights of our weekend was the fact that we got news that there was going to be a heat wave blowing into the SoCal area. And there's been a couple of them this year. And here's the funny thing. Well, it ain't funny, but I guess we're still right here in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Right, technically?
Yeah.
So in Marina Del Rey, we always think, we do have great weather. But when a heat wave comes in, it's a heat wave. And so it got to be hotter than over here. But we're good because we have air conditioning in our house. But the problem was 50 miles away, over there in a condo complex, over 55 senior community where Kristin's mother lives, her air conditioning went out. Kristin, what happened? Tell the story like you're talking to me, because when you're talking to me, it's a great story.
It's a saga. It's not even a story. It started, I think, on Thursday afternoon. She gave me a call and she said, well, my air conditioning went out. I said, okay, Mom, well, let's call an HVAC company and get it looked at. Okay. So I call her a little bit later. I said, Mom, did you get a hold of somebody? Well, yeah, I sure did. They're coming tomorrow at 1. I said, okay, great. So she waits, and it's hotter than blazes. And in the meanwhile, I ask her, Mom, do you want me to bring you a fan? Do you want me to come pick you up? Do you want I can try to find an air conditioning unit somewhere? No, honey, I'm fine. All right.
The famous quote, 4 words, I like the heat. Because she used to live in the desert. She used to live in the desert, the Mojave Desert. Was it Victorville?
Yeah.
Jesus H. Christ on a popsicle stick. This is family friendly. We used to go out and see her back in the day.
Well, Lucerne Valley.
Valley, whatever the hell it is. I mean, it's a treacherous drive out there. And then when you get out there, it's just hotter than blazes.
Yeah, so she thinks she's a desert tortoise now because, she's used to the heat. So she likes the heat.
But she's 80 years old. Yeah. So now when the heat is the heat, it's kind of hot.
I'm worried about her.
So we're worried about her. When my wife's thinking about driving out there at 50 miles, you think, okay, it ain't no big deal to drive 50 miles. Well, it is when you're driving in L.A. traffic. And
it's Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. By the time you drive 50 miles out there and you drive 50 miles back with your mother-in-law riding shotgun, and Kristin's head of hair would have just looked just like Moses in the Ten Commandments when he went over there and got those Ten Commandments from God on that mountain with the silver streaks and all. I mean, I'm already footing a pretty good bill to get her hair colored as it is, much less a global event like that. So, but just the offer was there, and the concern is real because dude, when it gets hot, people start getting smoked out here or anywhere where you're at when it gets hot.
Well, yeah. And so, so she said, I'll be fine tonight. I have a fan. Great. All right, good, Mom. I'm glad you'll be just fine. So call me if you need anything. I can come right over. The next day, call her in the morning. How's the temperature, Mom? Well, it's hot. Okay. I told you it's going to be hot. I'll bring you something. No, I just want to be here. I'm fine. Okay, Mom.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. So 1 o'clock comes around and the AC guy allegedly shows up and he takes a look at her unit and 2 hours later says, well, it's your electrical panel. Okay. So let me call an electrician at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. Okay. Well, no electrician wants to come out there. She's got a card of somebody that one of her friends in the complex gave to her. So she said, I'm going to call. This is who Mary recommended because she's used these people before. Okay, we'll call them and let me know what happens. Well, this guy comes out on Saturday. I don't know who she called, but apparently he wasn't an AC guy. I don't know. She said, I had the wrong card. I just called this person and he came out and he looked at my air conditioning. He said, I don't know what's the problem. So I'm thinking, okay, who did you call, Mom? Well, I didn't want him to fix it anyway because he wasn't the person I was supposed to call. Mom, who did you call? I don't know. I'm thinking she called the dry cleaners, the UPS guy. I have no idea. So another night of heat, and I'm worried, of course.
And a second offer to bring a fan out, and a second reply of, leave me alone. I like the heat.
Oh, so then the fan story. So I text her neighbor, who has a son who's 60, and I said, Ken, can you please bring a fan over if you have an extra one to my mom? He said, sure. So he brings her a fan that he had extra. He said, I just dropped it off because she was on the phone trying to order a new phone. Oh, okay. I'm thinking, why would she be on the phone ordering a new phone? But okay. I call her up, Mom, Ken just brought you a fan, so now you have two, right? Well, I said I had a fan, but I can't find it. So I'm thinking, do I actually have to ask you if you've plugged the fan in for it to be working? So now she's got one fan. She went 2 nights without any air blowing in the building, in the house. So I said, Mom, why are you ordering a new phone? Well, mine is broken. I said, broken? Well, when I was there the other day, you couldn't find it. So now it's broken? Well, I lost it. Okay. So did you order a flip phone because you can't use a smartphone because you don't know how to operate it? Well, they don't make flip phones anymore. Okay, so you ordered another smartphone that you're not going to be able to use. Okay. Great. So then now we're on our 3rd day of heat. And I call the emergency electrical person to come out. Some guy that works on Sunday. He comes out at 7:30 in the morning, looks at our electrical panel, and says, your panel's fine. Goodbye, and leaves. I said, Mom, why did he leave? Well, I couldn't get the key for him to get on the roof. I'm like, well, what do you need to get on the roof for? Well, that's where the problem is, apparently. Okay, and you know this because why? Well, because the guy that came out yesterday said it's probably the roof. I'm like, how does the roof have to do with your air conditioning unit? So here we are, and it is Monday. I've called the AC people 4 times. They have not called me back. She wants to use the company that her neighbor used. They only charged her $7,500 for a brand new air conditioning. I'm thinking, really, Mom? You're going to pay $7,500 for an air conditioning to cool off 600 square feet? Well, that's what Mary paid. And I'm boggled. I'm thinking, are we close to winter yet? I mean, really? $7,500 so you can cool off 600 square feet? Needless to say, she got a hold of the AC people, but they can't come out to the 14th.
Hang on for a second. I got to back you up.
I just remembered.
Oh, yeah. Because this is the punchline. This is the kicker. This is my wife and I's new line. Before we get to that, when the initial problem started and the first guy came out, we're like, man, F it. We got to do something. We just can't let Marlene sit down there in the heat because we're concerned about her.
Right.
I said, at the very least, we'll go down to Home Depot. You know, back in the day, they just had window unit air conditioners. You had central air or they had the window units. Well,
right.
She ain't got a window to stick that thing in, the way the condo's built. But now they have those stand-up, self-contained
portable
units on rollers. And so it's a portable air conditioning. I'm going to get one from a little garage over here. They're awesome. So for about, I don't know what they cost, $600 to $1,000?
$300 to $500.
Okay, so it's a negligible amount to spend. It's just so you can ensure that your mother's life is okay and that she can keep cool.
Right.
So then Kristin starts getting on the phone. She starts calling,
I called everywhere. Nobody has a portable AC unit, and they are in high demand because everybody wants one because we're in the middle of a heat wave.
The whole state of California is in a heat wave, so everybody who ain't got air conditioning, because like they always say, it's like Kristin's. Kristin has a house in Venice. We leased it out because we live together at 316 Gimmick Street. And when I first started living with Kristin, I was like, man, where's the AC? She goes, we ain't got AC. We're a mile. Well, you're less than a mile from the water. And it's just, when it gets hot, you open up the windows and you acclimate. And when it gets cold, I've got a heater, but normally I just open and close the windows so I can acclimate to the heat. And I'm like, man, that's a red flag. First of all, I love the chick, good looking. We have a lot of chemistry together. We both like football and a lot of other stuff and vodka. So this is a match made in heaven, but the air conditioning thing don't jive with me. And we first started living together, man, it got to be winter. And Kristin had all the windows wide open. And I'd be laying in bed just shivering my ass off like, man, what in the F is wrong with this chick? Something's wrong here. And then it was summer, and I'd be over there. Well, because I know how your mother could have felt other than she likes the heat. Man, I'd be sitting there. I still might have my oscillating fan in the garage.
Yeah.
You never get rid of a fan. And so I'd be sitting there just drenched in sweat with the fan blowing right on my ass. It didn't need to oscillate. I had it pointed dead center at center mass and at my head. And I had an ice pack on my head. It got so friggin' hot out here. And I'll never forget the first apartment I got out here out on Fiji Way. I asked my buddy who turned me on to the place, I said, dude, this apartment's cool, but there ain't no AC. He goes, this can come back to the punchline. You don't need AC. You're right by the water. The water was 100 yards away. First summer I leased that apartment. This is before I moved in with Diamond Dallas Page back in the day in Playa Vista. I'd be in there laying on my mattress, and I had 4 fans. I was in there sweating my ass off, and this is before they invented the self-contained air conditioning that you could just, roll around. So anyway, everybody in California is trying to find a portable air conditioning unit. They're all gone, and so, of course, went to trusted Home Depot. She called, and then she starts calling just random people. My wife called Walgreens to ask if they had portable air conditioning. Walgreens ain't gonna have no portable air conditioners, but while you was there, you could pick up my prescription for Xanax. Skip the AC, pick up my Xanax. I'll be hot in blazes, but I'll be relaxed. Where else did you call? Because it got to be ridiculous.
Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, Orchard, DIY.
And I can understand
CVS.
Target and CVS, but Bed Bath & Beyond is a stretch for a portable AC unit. And she was calling with all sincerity. And I know that the people, when they answered the phone, Bed Bath & Beyond, hey, do y'all have any portable air conditioning units? It's like, what in the hell are you talking about, lady? So anyway, my wife searched high and low all over the mean streets of Los Angleez, everywhere here in the valley and the SoCal area. Not one was to be had.
No.
And then the next day, before Kristin continues on with the punchline of the story of the service that Marlene, her mother, is still waiting to get, we went down to Home Depot because we had to get a few things. What did we get?
We had to get a filter for our air conditioning.
Oh, man, our AC. We got central air conditioning, of course, and that was one of the reasons I love this house when we found it. But the filter was just clogged up. It was dirtier than hell, and the last thing we needed to do was stress our system out and make it go cattywampus because, dude, power was going out all over Los Angeles because people had all their stuff on too high. So people were getting their power knocked out.
And we've had fires, horrible fires.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, all the devastation down there in Texas. And then all of a sudden here in Cali, they're in Burbank. I mean, nearby areas that have no chance of getting to us, but are just burned up. When my wife told me about the fires in Burbank, I'm like, how is Burbank on fire? I mean, there's too much concrete.
Well, there's a lot of mountains, yeah.
I know. Well,
yeah.
That's what I was, soon to find out. But anyway, where was I going with this story?
Well, when my mom said she didn't care that the guy wasn't going to fix her air conditioning anyway because she didn't want him to. She wants this other company to fix the air conditioning, the same ones that charged her neighbor $7,500. And when I call her to ask her about it, I said, Mom, did you get a hold of the air conditioning people? Who? I said, the AC people that you want to fix your AC? Well, yeah, let me tell you about them. I said, okay. I said, what's their phone number? I want to make sure we have the right number. And she gave it to me, and she said, and I have the card right here. They are family-owned, and they've been in business for 30 years. Family-owned. And she had to enunciate the entire thing, which drove me insane. And I'm thinking, okay, so this family-owned business, maybe one person's working there because now they can't get to my mom's house for 10 days. So family-owned means there's one person working there. Maybe the son or daughter's working there. And she's going to be without AC for another 10 days.
Yeah, but you told me that story, Deborah. You said it like this. She goes, well, they've been, I can't make my voice go like Kristin. Well, they've been in business 30 years. And they're
family-owned.
And it's like, when she's like family-owned, it's like really sticking it up her ass. Like, yeah, hello. Not only they've been around 30 years, but they're family-owned. And then Kristin responds promptly with, Mom, I don't care if they've been in business 5 years. If they can't get to your house, who cares how long they've been in business? If they can't fix your house and they're family-owned, it does not matter. But all of a sudden, just because it was on this business card, it was like the holiest grail of holy grails.
So if you ever want to advertise for your company, just say how many years you've been in business and that you're family-owned.
So now that's our new thing. I mean, like Chris and me were ribbing each other during the game last night. But whatever this piece of salmon is, family-owned. And, of course, we got up and ate breakfast this morning. And I was washing the dishes because if you heard the podcast before, that's what I do. I wash dishes after Kristin cooks breakfast. And I know this is a family-friendly show, but I cut an exceedingly loud fart that lasted forever and was just... it was despicable. It was highly embarrassing, and I can't believe I'm even talking about it. My wife just looks at me. She shakes her head. She goes, Jesus Christ. I said, yeah, but, honey, that fart was family-owned.
And you have to enunciate every single letter.
So as it stands, so did you get the appointment time that they're finally going to
Yes.
Okay, when are they coming to fix your mother's air conditioning unit?
Next week.
September
Thursday.
14th.
Yes.
So now she's got to wait a whole nother week. At least today is Sunday. Today is Monday. Today's Labor Day. We have a little bit clearing in the weather. Tomorrow will be a little bit cooler than it is today. So the heat wave is starting to lift.
Right.
But she's still going to be out there without air conditioning while the air conditioning company that has been around, family-owned for 30 years, is waiting to get their crap together so they can get over there.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear the bid.
Oh, and my wife, she did pretty good justice. We were laughing over there this morning while we were eating breakfast. I said, man, if you could do this voice on the podcast, it would be great. So if you take what you just heard from my wife, but then put another 10 to 15% stink on it, you really have how her mother actually sounds. And here's the thing.
It's hard to do it on the podcast.
It's hard to do it on podcast.
For me.
But when she's in full character, it's uncanny. And so now I know what I have to look forward to in 20 years because she can be doing the exact same thing. And I said, Kristin, if you ever do that, I said, I'm going to get another house. Or I'm going to get earplugs. I'll never leave you. But you can't do that. So Kristin has promised me that she won't do that. You can't leave me hanging like this with that kind of expectation. Work with me here.
You have so much to look forward to.
Oh, I know. And the other thing I was going to say, because I can't hear to begin with. If you listen to the podcast, you know that. But I'm listening to these conversations, and Kristin is on her iPhone 6, like literally across the room from me, 15 or 20 feet, and I can hear her mother with complete clarity, and it hurts my ears, and it's rattling the speaker in her iPhone. You know how people get that voice? So Kristin's doing a little bit of justice here, but when you listen to that, and sometimes when you call her, she just gets a little vitriol in her system, and she gets a little mean streak in her, and all of a sudden I can hear, well, I don't know where I put it, because she keeps losing her smartphone. And then Kristin says, well, my mom's not smart enough to work a smartphone, so I don't know why she keeps getting them. So we keep trying to find her, and I'm not making fun of your mother.
Know.
We're just trying to find her the most simple phone that we can find her.
I have to find a place that makes a flip phone because she cannot use the smartphone. She can't even call out on it. So there's no point in having one. So, I mean, she doesn't know that you have to put a passcode in to open it up and where the button is to turn it on.
But then every other week, it's your mother calling you. Well, actually, it's every week. And so she's saying, do the routine about where she's asking you the password for a computer.
Oh, God. I have changed the password so many times, and then I'll get a text because I have it connected to my phone number. Your password has been changed again. I'm like, Mom, why did you change the password again? I forgot it. Well, Mom, I have a book. I've written everything down. Over and over and over, I've written the dates next to each password for each website, and inevitably, she forgets the password. So, I give up.
But every time you go there, I tell you, I said, here's the thing. I said, first of all, what kind of crazy secrets does she have to protect? It's not like she's got millions of dollars in the bank with all these accounts or with all this stuff that someone's going to come in there and hack and steal her identity and take everything she owns.
I've done the simplest passwords, but she cannot remember.
And then y'all put them down in a spiral notebook, and she can't remember them. And I'm like, didn't y'all write all that stuff down when you were there? And like, yeah, it's right there. And I said, Kristin, why don't you get a poster board and with a Sharpie, just hang a poster board on the wall? Because no one comes to her apartment other than her friends.
Right.
Her friends aren't going to get on her.
They don't even have computers.
Right. So nobody's going to steal her stuff.
Right.
So what is the big deal? I mean, like we've talked to, the passwords are very simple. So I don't understand why and every time, Kristin, well, she goes to visit her mother every week anyway. But it's one thing to go visit her mother, go pick her up some groceries, and take her out to eat. Yep. But then when it turns into a thing where Kristin's got to work on either one, the phone with the gigantic numbers, her landline, which speaks out and says everything that everybody's saying, along with amplifies it.
Right.
It's like a telephone with a gigantic display that
you can't miss the numbers.
You can't miss it, and it's like it's hooked to like a Marshall amp. So if you're deaf, this thing has got a speaker on it. And then she goes over and she's got to work on a computer.
The words and everything.
But how many computers have you taken over there to reprogram for? And it's like, honey, do the thing where she can't get online or she can't check her email.
Oh, no. So I got her a new computer. This is the third one. And I get it all hooked up. And then she tells me, honey, I bought a tablet. Can you get it hooked up for me? I'm thinking, okay, you can't operate the computer, you can't operate the smartphone, and now you want a tablet.
But you'd already given her an iPad.
I gave her an iPad.
My old iPad that I didn't use. My wife got me an iPad for Christmas one year. I said, okay, this would be cool. I thought. I didn't use no iPad. So she gives it to her mother. Honey? And so she couldn't work the iPad because she got on QVC or whatever
Home Shopping Network.
Home Shopping Network. That son of a buck on the damn TV commercial just made it sound like she had to have a tablet, so she got one. And how much does she use it?
She can't even figure out how to turn it on after I've already hooked it up for her.
Yeah. So
I put in all the passwords. I put in all the websites, all her information. I said, Mom, how's that tablet coming along? Well, I can't even turn it on. I'm like, it's the button on the side, Mom. Well, I think I have to charge it. Yeah, you're going to have to charge it. I get over there. The thing doesn't have a charge. I said, where's your charger? Oh, it's somewhere around here. Yeah. The challenge of having aging parents.
Well, I tell you what, love her to death. We're trying to get her AC fixed. The saga will continue. Coming back, I got a couple of BS stories I got to tell you, but also got to tell you, or let Kristin tell you, when she near burned our house down 2 days ago trying to cook me some fried chicken.
No, it was salmon.
Salmon, whatever it was. I'm still traumatized from the fact that I don't know how much money we spent remodeling our house, and you almost burned some of a gun down. All right, let me take a quick pause for the calls with my stories here and thank another sponsor who makes this podcast possible, and that's the folks over at TrueCar. Man, when you're looking to buy a new car, you want to feel comfortable that you're getting a fair price. And with TrueCar, you can get information that empowers you with pricing context that lets you see what other people in your area paid for the car you want. It's pricing you'll see before going to a dealership so you can feel confident when you show up. And with TrueCar, you can connect with a local certified dealer of your choosing. When you're ready to buy a new car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states. And while we're on the subject of cars, let me take a minute here to tell you about how you can save hundreds of dollars on the car insurance that you'll need with that new car. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. You can finish listening to this podcast, and immediately after, go to geico.com and get yourself set up. Extra money in your pocket, it just may be the most rewarding thing you do today.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
All right, I'm sitting here with my wife here at 316 Gimmick Street.
No, 317.
317, I have been corrected. Going to turn this place into a studio one of these days. I don't know what that actually means. It probably means nothing. I'm probably just going to put a couch over there and keep my complete recording set, which is a Zoom H4n recorder and 2 Shure SM58 mics. It just sounds cool when you say I'm going to turn it into a studio.
Right.
God dang, man. On our journey back from Home Depot just yesterday, the route we take, which is right down Lincoln Boulevard. I mean, you never know what you're going to see on Lincoln Boulevard or Washington Boulevard. I mean, there's a lot of homeless people out here. With no disrespect to homeless people, there's a lot of homeless people out here. And so whether they're on the corners, looking for money, asking for money with their signs and all that stuff, I mean, just the X factor that is the Venice Beach area is off the charts.
Right.
So all of a sudden, man, I look over on the sidewalk, and it's right there before you get to Bartell's Harley Davidson. I look over and said, man, this dude looked really tall. And had this brown cloak on, and he looked Darth Vader tall. And I looked over him, and like his face was striking, and he had this beard and this goatee and this mustache. And I couldn't figure it out. And then I was behind the steering wheel, so I couldn't stare too long. I said, Kristin, look at that guy. I said, what is that?
It was a guy with a cloak carrying a bottle of wine walking down Lincoln Boulevard.
He looked just like Jesus.
He did. He looked like Jesus.
He looked like a 7'6" Jesus. And I don't know why he looked so tall, because he didn't look to be post-prime. If he was 7'6", the way he appeared to look, I don't know if he was on stilts. He had something on top of his head, but the dude looked 7 feet tall, and he looked exactly like Jesus. And the kicker was he was carrying a bottle of wine.
Open container.
And he had this long, flowing brown cloak. It was almost like a bed sheet. That's how it flowed in the wind. It was almost magical, mystical. It was almost a religious experience, Jesus Christ. No pun intended. And so the one thing that my wife noticed was the fact that not only is this guy over 7 feet tall, he looks just like Jesus. He's got a brown cloak, but he's got an open container bottle of wine, and she goes, almost just like her mother's voice. Look at that. Look at that. If that was you or me with an open bottle of wine, the cops would pull us over and gave us a ticket. That's what you were the maddest about.
Yeah.
He rubbed you the wrong way just because Jesus was walking down the sidewalk. And here's the thing. They always talk about, what's that event when Jesus comes back down, he's going to take all the people? The rapture. They always talk about the rapture. And so I figured maybe Jesus would come down here doing a scouting routine, got thirsty, stopped by the liquor store, pick up a bottle of vino, and he's walking down to see which he's going to take back and which he's going to leave behind. I'm sure he's going to leave my ass behind. God dang it. Hey, man, quick truck. Because I was thinking right then when if he was going to leave me behind, I'd be stuck behind my Chevy pickup truck. Kristin dropped me off at the dealership the other day. Finally, after all the headaches, hassles, and horse feathers that goes with getting my truck repaired, they finished it. And they said it's ready to be picked up. And so I went over and I paid the bill. They knocked some off of the original price of $1,600, so I didn't get scalped as bad as thought I was going to get scalped. And I pull off out of there, and I'm driving the pickup truck, and I'm heading out to the Broken Skull Challenge compound to get my Traeger barbecue grill.
Pellet grill.
Yeah, my pellet grill. So as I take off out of the dealership, man, I'm on the road, and I've driven about a quarter mile. I look down at my dash, and my check engine light was on. And I'm like, well, holy smokes. I didn't say smokes. I said my friggin' check engine light's on. That's the big reason I took the truck in there, because it's been blinking and flashing all the way since Texas. It's running pretty good, but I wanted to make sure that they cleared all the codes, and I was good to go. Because after paying over $1,000 for a truck repair, which took almost 2 weeks to get done, I would have figured the check engine light would be off, and it was on. I called the dude, and the dude's got a different name. I never can pronounce the guy's name. So anyway, I got a hold of my technician. I said, hey, dude. I said, what's up with this pickup truck? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, man, my check engine light's on. I said, I just paid you guys a lot of money to fix this thing. He goes, well, where are you? I said, I'm right down the road. He said, bring it back. So I brought it back. Hey, man, when you take your car into a place, it's a small town or whatever, it's one thing. But when you pull into like Los Angleez, which is, it's a big major city, it ain't like just pulling into the mom and pop place.
There's like 50 cars in
They
line.
got people out there with flashlights, like at an airport runway, directing you in. Here's the guy giving me the signal. He's wrapping his arms around over here. I'm like, Jesus Christ. No pun intended, the guy we're just talking about. I pull back in. Here comes my guy. He gets in the pickup truck. He goes, I'll be right back. He hauls that thing to the back. They hook it up to the diagnostics. And he goes, man, everything's fine, Steve. The check engine light is probably on because you got headers on this thing. And when you took the supercharger off, he goes, it's going to be fine. So you're good to go. So I said, dude, as long as you say it's good to go, y'all put all the plugs and the new wires and all that stuff on it, I'm fine. So I put it in gear, and sure enough, I get on the 405 to head out to the Broken Skull Challenge compound. Because when I left in the SUV, and I didn't have any way to haul my Traeger pellet grill home. And I've been missing that grill. Once you start cooking on one of those pellet grills and you start smoking stuff, it's the taste of everything that you're smoking or cooking is so off the charts that it's hard to live without it. So I wanted to go pick up my pellet grill. And so sure enough, as soon as I got on the 405, the check engine light went off. So I'm cleared. So everything is normal with the truck. I was hauling ass down there. And I'd called my buddy, the showrunner for Broken Skull Challenge. I said, hey, Vince. I said, are the guys still out there tearing down the compound? Because out there where we filmed the Broken Skull Challenge, that place is like a movie lot. We get that spot for the amount of time we're designated. There were already 2 shows in there setting up, starting filming process over there. So we've got to tear everything down. All the guys are, fill in all the holes from trench warfare, etc. So I said, hey, man, they've already hauled my camper away. And I said, is there any of the guys out there that could help me throw that grill in the back of the truck? Because, man, me working on a freight dock, I can move almost anything single-handedly, but that grill weighs 265 pounds, and it's bulk weight. It's not like picking up a deadlift bar or squatting or bench pressing something. You're talking about a barbecue pit that I cannot wrap my arms around and lift it 3.5 feet to get in the back of my pickup truck. And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, when you get there, just stop and ask some of the guys. They'll come over and help you out. Well, I get out there. I back up to my Traeger Grill, and I figure, yeah, you know what? There's got to be a way where I can just lift this thing in the back of my pickup truck. And I started looking away, because you always look around and try to jerry-rig a way to make a job easier. And I see a hill, and there's a ramp over by that hill. And boy, all of a sudden I start doing some math. Well, that ramp looks pretty good, and the ramp is about 3.5 feet tall. It's built out of 2x2 steel square tubing. It's got a heavy-ass rubber mat on it. It weighed a couple of 100 pounds. And I figured, you know what? I bet I can pull that ramp over here, put it to the back of my tailgate, and push the Traeger Grill up the ramp single-handedly. It was a pretty short ramp, probably 4 or 5 feet long. It's a pretty steep incline. But with the hill built into the factor, I thought I'd be okay. In retrospect, it was almost like, Evel Knievel trying to jump Snake River Canyon. It wasn't going to work, but I was going to give it a try. And sure enough, as I was tugging on that ramp, trying to get it into position, and here come the guys driving up on a Kawasaki mule. Hey, Steve, you ready to move that pitch yet? I said, yeah. I said, man, I was just going to see if I could use this ramp. He goes, no, man, we'll help you. So at 4 guys and myself pick up the Traeger Grill and put in the back of my Chevy pickup. And then I just had some bungee cords and some rope where I was going to tie it down. You can't lay these things down. I have to tie this thing up to the back of the pickup where my cab is in the back by my window. And they said, Steve, you don't have a ratchet strap? Of course, I got a bunch of ratchet straps for my motorcycles, my mules, and stuff like that, but I had forgotten to bring them. I said, hey, man, let me go get you one. Let's ratchet that thing down so you're good to get back to L.A. So, man, a guy came back with a ratchet strap. We tied that thing down like a mug. I put the cover over it, and I knew I was just going to take it nice and easy on the way home. And I made it back home. The truck runs fine. Well, here's the thing. I wanted to cook on my grill, but it was in the back of my pickup truck. And my wife says, who's sitting right in front of me, Steve, you and me can lift that grill by ourselves. And I look at my wife, and my wife has got a back of a politician, crooked as. And I said, there ain't no way that you and me can pick up that grill by ourselves. The weight we can handle, but it's just the fact that it's so bulky. And then picking it down 3.5 feet from the back of that pickup truck. And my wife says, well, let's just call Randy, our contractor, and his son to come over. I said, man, I don't want to bother anybody. So my grill has been in the back of my pickup truck for like 4 days. And I'm like, I want to use the thing. And so Kristin's cooking, my dinner on the oven. I'm using my regular propane grill in the back. And finally I said, man, I'm just going to cook in the back of the pickup truck because I'd been on the Traeger website looking at the little tailgate model. And I looked, they're actually cooking on the tailgate. So I figured, well, if they're cooking on a tailgate, the barbecue pit, the smoker's 3.5 feet tall. Even though I'm directly over the gas tank, the fuel tank in my truck, there's the bed there. It ought to be safe. So I told my wife, hey, Kristin, hand me that extension cord. She said, what are you doing? I said, well, if they're using that portable grill on the back of a tailgate, I can barbecue in the back of my truck. So I plugged that thing in, started cooking my salmon and my chicken just like I did the Broken Skull Challenge compound. And every time I had to step down to go get something, of course, I backed it up right to where our trash cans were. So, y'all know if you listen to the podcast, we got 3 trash cans. A blue one for recycling, a brown one for trash, and
a green one.
A green one for compost, leaves, grass, dog crap. And that thing was full of crap. So while I'm out there trying to enjoy all the nice mesquite pellets that I'm burning, trying to cook my salmon and chicken, which smells wonderful, there's this tone of, I'll go and say it, dog wafting through the air trying to, ruin my experience. And every time I get down, I've got to use one of those trash can lids to get my crippled, stumpy legs down there so I can go get whatever I'm looking for.
And meanwhile, you're towering over the driveway so all the neighbors can see you standing in the back of your truck.
You talk about a piece of white trash. People look at me like, what in the hell is going on? Of course, I fired up that grill, and right now we have the biggest fire that's ever hit the state of California, burning down everything. I'm thinking, boy, all of a sudden this thing starts smoking up. They're going to think they're going to think the whole neighborhood's on fire. So anyway, man, I'm cooking my food in the back of the grill. Turns out just fine. We got the grill into the, ground. We called Randy and his son. They came over, and we all unloaded the damn thing. So everything's good. But the other day, my wife was cooking me chicken. What were we cooking, salmon?
I don't know. I can't remember. Chicken or salmon?
I know it was salmon because you use some olive oil in there.
And it splatters everywhere.
It's part of my eating program. I eat the same stuff every single day. My last weigh-in, I think I weighed 242. On the keto diet. It's a modified keto diet, higher protein, medium fat. So I ate the same thing every day. I have been ever since Broken Skull Challenge started. And Kristin was cooking my salmon in the olive oil, and it was splattering everywhere. So to keep it from splattering everywhere, go ahead, Kristin, you take over this. You're the rocket scientist.
Oh, I'm not.
Because we used to have these screens that we used to put over the skillets.
Splatter screens.
Yeah, splatter screens. What happened to splatter screens?
I threw them out because they were gross. So I thought, paper towel can come in handy, so I put the paper towel next to where the salmon was splattered.
Let me correct you. She was holding the paper towel over the skillet while checking her iPhone or whatever you're
looking
doing.
At the
looking
dogs.
out the window, looking at the dogs, and she's talking to dogs. Hey, Callie. Hey, Mulla. All of a sudden, she looks back. Ah! She had grabbed it wasn't just one paper towel. She had grabbed like 2 or 3. It was like a wad. It was like a big sheet of paper towels. The whole sum is on fire. And I'm looking, we just spent I don't know how much money remodeling the house. We're about to burn this son of a bitch to the ground.
And I didn't know what to do, so I threw it on the counter, which was stupid.
And I mean, I'm like, a counter, brand new counter. So I pick up the goddamn ball of flames, put it in the sink. Like we got one of those hoses that comes out of the sink so you can wash dishes and spray all the stuff down your garbage disposal. I started, putting all the flames out. And then I'm thinking, okay, here come the smoke detectors. Because the other night, I don't know how you didn't wake up the other night. Anyway, I what do you call it, extinguished the fire.
Yes.
I thought we were going to burn the place down. And then the other night, speaking of fire alarms or smoke alarms, we were laying in bed. Kristin was already asleep. When my wife goes to sleep, it would take, I don't know what it would take to wake her up, because she don't wake up.
Well, not when I first go to sleep. I usually wake up a couple hours later.
Yeah, but goddamn, when you sleep, when you talk about REMs, you're going to OD on REMs. You sleep. Me, I'm over there fidgeting around. I never can sleep. I got insomnia. I just don't sleep very well. When I'm laying there, I'm just trying to wind down, relax, and all of a sudden,
malfunction.
Jiminy H. Cricket, the smoke alarm starts going off right there in our bedroom, and I'm thinking, maybe there's a fire in the attic. Maybe there's a fire in the attic. I was almost asleep, and then all of a sudden, I hit that reset button, get back in bed, put the covers on. I did that like 3 times. I'm thinking, okay, if it does it one more time, I got the patience. I don't have any patience.
No.
But this is a brand new smoke detector. We just got our house remodeled, so I have a little more patience than I usually have. And so if it does it one more time, I'm going to take the cover off and take the battery out. If it ain't got a battery, it's going to get ripped out. If it's hardwired, it's going to get snipped off. And I'm just laying there thinking, my wife can hear a mosquito. And if we're laying in the bedroom, she'll hear a mosquito in the living room. Steve, what? There's a mosquito. Where is it? It's in the living room. Go kill it. Kill it? Why? Well, because it's going to bite me during the night.
And sure enough, they always do.
Jesus Christ. I mean, there was a mosquito underneath the TV in the bedroom. And she goes, Steve? Well, she almost sounds like her mother. There's a mosquito underneath the TV. Get him. He's big. I'm sure he's got my blood in it. So sure enough, I knocked the mosquito down. I had to be careful in killing the mosquito, strategically attacking it so I didn't, splatter blood all over the newly painted, remodeled walls. So I killed the little bastard. He falls down on the ground. I pick him up, and Kristin's in the shower, and I go in and say, here's a mosquito. And she goes, did he have my blood in him? I said, well, let's see. And I squeezed him. And it just turned into a pile of red mush.
Right.
So, yep, he was full of your blood.
I told you.
Yeah, you were right. But god dang, man, between that smoke alarms are driving me crazy. We've been talking about Home Depot so much. It would be remiss if we did not tell the story about the guy driving the, what was it?
Forklift.
It's not a forklift. I guess it is a forklift, but it's one you just stand in so you can haul stuff around. It's like a forklift, but you stand on it rather than sit on it.
Right.
And I'm walking around, and I got these wireless ear pods on from Apple. And these things are really good, but they piss me off because they only last for about 4 hours. And if you don't have a wire connector, then you're screwed if you want to go wireless. And the thing about the new iPhone 6 Plus, whatever I got, if you have your headphone plugged into the jack, you can't charge.
I think it's a 7 now, don't you?
7, yeah, whatever the 7 is. But my point is, when you plug in the new headphones and the new configuration, you can't charge at the same time. So that's why I got the wireless ones. But then when these things burn out after 4 hours, you got no power.
Well, if you're talking on the phone for 4 hours, you got...
Kristin, I got business to take care of. As a global icon, a national treasure who runs a very successful podcast, and so-and-so, and such as, inside joke, such as. Anyway, so there we're at Home Depot. I got my ear pods in. I'm kind of in my own world.
And it's already chaotic because it's the holiday weekend. There's a lot of people shopping, trying to get barbecues, and there's people trying to stock the shelves, and there's not just one forklift. There were 2 forklifts. One gal didn't know how to operate the first one, so she was kind of stuck in the middle of the alley or the aisle. And then the other guy was trying to move I don't know what, and he has a guy in front of him clapping 2 sticks to try to move people out of the way, and they're honking the horn. So it was absolute chaos.
It was the dude with the flags, and he was clapping them together because it was almost like, when you watch a UFC, they clap those sticks together at 10 seconds. This was like that, except they were bigger sticks that had orange flags and like
Clap.
I mean, but it was loud. I'm banging my hands together.
They were herding people through the aisles.
And they were yelling, cart coming through. I can't even get out of the way.
Or you hear a beep, beep, and you get out of the way.
Yeah, but it's that, like when you hear a service truck and it goes beep, beep, beep. I mean, these things, again, it's like being hooked to a Marshall stack. It was so friggin' loud and chaotic.
It was.
And I was confused. I was almost like Rain Man. Like when Tom Cruise would yell at Rain Man and Dustin Hoffman would get all crazy and start scratching his head. I mean, with all due respect to anybody who has that affliction. I mean, that's how I was responding. I was like, dude, I'm about to go crazy here. If it keeps up, I'm going to have to just bolt out of Home Depot or maybe go hide into the restroom. But it's a quarter mile away. As we know, it's in the back far right-hand corner to hide from everybody until it's quiet again so I can come out and continue my leisurely shopping. It was chaotic.
It was chaotic.
It almost sent me over the edge.
It sent me over the edge. I had to duck into the aisle and just sort of decompress after they passed because they were creating that much noise and people were getting nervous, you know?
And it's funny when people go to Home Depot, man. It's like, because people get these things. Well, I've done it before. You get these objects, whether it's like lumber or sticks or trim or carpet, and it's like 20, 25 feet long, and you're trying to make the corners, or here's that dude that doesn't have any spatial awareness.
Right.
And it's like, come on, dude, man, are you ribbing me? And through all the chaos, we finally get what we need. And what do we go there for? Just a couple of things.
The air conditioning filters.
Oh, yeah. So
and cleaning supplies. I like to buy cleaning supplies.
But, Kristin, we went in there for the air conditioning filter. We drove 4 miles to Home Depot just so I make sure our air conditioning didn't go out because of the heat wave. We go in there. Go ahead, Kristin. Ask the guy where the air filter is.
Oh, I stopped the Home Depot worker.
The Home Depot technician.
I said, it's so hot over here right now, Steve. I'm delirious. I said, can you tell me where the air... And before I could finish my sentence, he said, we're all out of air conditioning. I'm like, I'm not looking for an air conditioning unit. I'm looking for your filters. Oh, well, those are on aisle 14. Okay, thank you.
But dude got all defensive. Air conditioner. We ain't got them. Everybody's calling from all over the place. We ain't got them. Man, dude, he almost flipped out.
Yeah.
Okay, just wait for it. Wait for the end of the question. Where are the air filters? Okay. Yeah. It's like I was going to give the dude some of his THC drops or Xanax. I just picked up my prescription. Here, take one of these. The heat's going to be gone in a few days. I told my wife, I said, living in Los Angeles, you got to keep your head on a swivel to begin with.
Right.
Because you do in life, because all the stupid stuff that people do, the stupid things that are going on right now as we speak. But all of a sudden, when it really gets hot, people's tempers just flare. Their levels of reasoning lower down, and people just do stupid things. So when it gets hot, you just really got to keep your head on a swivel because people are going to explode.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to process anything anymore. Jesus. Don't get me started on all the stuff going on at Berkeley and all the other places are going crazy. Kristin, I took my wife, Kristin. It was my cheat day on my diet. And cheat day, I don't even like to use that.
A cheat meal.
It's not even a cheat day or it's not even a cheat meal. It's a refeed because of the carbohydrate intake that I'm bringing in every single day is less than 25 grams. So my refeed is about 200 grams of carbs. And on top of that refeed, I will put 1 drink of whiskey, 3 ounces to be exact. So I was going to take my wife out, and I was going to get a protein burger, a hamburger without bread, because I already consumed my 200 grams of carbs. And so Kristin orders this salad, and she's enjoying her appetizer meal, drinking a glass of wine, and the waiters over there are so nice. But geez, Jiminy H. Cricket, flashback to Jesus walking down the sidewalk the other day, taking survey on the rapture. Oh, that bald-headed dude with the goatee, he ain't going. His wife, maybe we'll take her. So you're eating your salad, and my wife, she's a foodie. She likes to eat. Her passion is cooking, and she likes to eat good food. And so when she eats, she ain't like me. I mean, I get a hamburger, protein burger in front of me. It don't last long. You ain't going to ask me, hey, are you done yet? Because when I'm done, you will see that the plate has been cleaned probably about 45 seconds. Well, my wife likes to enjoy her meal while she drinks a glass of wine. And so these waiters keep coming by. Take it from you, ma'am. No, I'm still working on it. Come back. Take it from you, ma'am. No, they asked you 4 times if they could take your goddamn food. It's almost like vultures flying around. I'm like, man, somebody must need an extra dish for another salad because they keep wanting the one that contains my wife's salad on it. Why they want this dish back? Is it Rain Man back there that wants a dish? On my dish. On my dish.
Yeah, and because I don't hold my fork and look like I'm eating the whole time. I like to sit it down and relax and, enjoy it. But as soon as I put my fork down, boy, it came right over. You done? No, I'm not done. I still have a lot of salad in here.
Yeah, I'm like, Okay, you know what? I was going to get a whiskey. Make it a triple. I need whiskey. And everyone was so bad, it almost drove me to drink it. I got to hit my reset button. Are you kidding me? Here's the thing. Going back to Home Depot, I could not believe right before we headed into the checkout line, and you got a scrap going to the self-checkout line. Everybody, the dude with the 30-foot trim in there, there he was at the self-checkout. And every time I go to the self-checkout, I'm so stupid I screw everything up. And then they think you're trying to shoplift. Sir, did you scan all those items? Well, I'm trying to, but the friggin' system won't accept my credit card. I'm doing something wrong. So I stay away from those things. So there we go. And we're about to head to the checkout line, and if over there on the south wall, we'll call it the south wall, I don't know what wall it was, holy smokes, they got Halloween stuff on sale already. And not just a little bit, I mean a lot of Halloween stuff. This was those expensive items. They had about an 8-foot tall Tyrannosaurus Rex. They had all these dinosaur mastodons.
Skulls and skeletons.
They had witches.
Life-size figures.
Life-size figures. I mean, these things cost a couple of $100. And I'm thinking, first of all, well, I guess it is officially September.
Yeah.
But, I guess, Halloween is 2 months away, or just shy of 2 months away. But, man, it just catches you by surprise because in 2 weeks they're going to have Thanksgiving stuff on surprise. So they got to get rid of the Halloween stuff. And then they're going to start having the Christmas stuff up. Before you know, we're going to be in the next new year. But in 17's been
They're really making time fly, aren't they?
They are making time fly. But I tell you what, man, speaking of dinosaurs that I saw there at the Home Depot for sale for Halloween, I couldn't believe the display they had. I couldn't believe the price tags on some of that stuff. Here's the thing. You love Halloween. It's your favorite holiday.
Yes.
Well, why do you like it so much?
I don't know. I just like it.
And see, here's the thing. Our Halloween setup is very simple. We just got like 2 or 3 items. And my wife's favorite thing was this witch's head that hung on the door, and it's got an infrared sensor on it. So every time you walk by, it says one of the 6 different phrases.
Right.
So, like, name one. What was it? Trick or treat. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's probably like a $20 item.
Right. I got it at Walgreens.
Yeah, and it lasted for like years.
Yeah, and I can't find them anymore.
I know, and it broke last year. I tried to perform surgery on it and use my electronical skills. A lot of people didn't know that I'm not a certified electrician. I thought I was going to try to take the screws out and fix the infrared sensors. That blew up on my face. Did not work. But so are we going to get a new gimmick thing for Halloween this year?
Well, that's why I was looking at Home Depot. They had a real nice selection.
I know, but it's too big. It don't fit into what we do. It
was too big.
Hey, man, I saw a recent article, and I know this podcast is all over the place, but this is how my life is. This is what actually happens. I was reading an article. It was actually on my MSN homepage on my computer about some place in Texas. They had found a fossil, and this fossil was to a Triceratops dinosaur. And a Triceratops was it was on 4 legs, and it had the big, plate back behind its head and the big horns sticking out the front, maybe 2 horns, kind of like a rhino. Triceratops. Look it up on Wikipedia, Triceratops. And then I was sitting there thinking, I was listening to the guy in the video, and the guy said, this thing is 56 million years old. And as soon as the dude said it was 56 million years old, I'm like, man, red flag. How do you know that this thing is 56 million years old, Kristin? 56 million. I know you're going to say carbon dating, Miss Scientist.
Oh, I was?
No,
That sounds good. That sounds
Okay,
good.
yeah, carbon dating. I mean, who said, how can they say something that's 56 million years old? From carbon dating.
I don't know.
We only been here for X amount of years. Now we're going to say something that's 56 million years old? And dude, the way the Earth is going right now, I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but if that dinosaur is 56 million years old and we've come all this way, they didn't screw anything up. But now look how bad a shape the world is right now. Anyway, going back to the Triceratops, Kristin, when I read that article and when I heard that guy saying that this Triceratops fossil is 56 million years old, they're going to rebuild it, they're going to take it over to the Smithsonian Institute, I was thinking, man, I don't know about that. I said, I'd go 55 million years old, but not 56. That would be my guess if I was to examine what my wife thinks I'm so foolish, and I am. But I mean, 56 million years. I got to talk about the story from the car that passed by before I talk about our refrigerator and our trash compactor. And I'm almost done.
Can I go to Home Depot? Can I go to Home Goods yet?
Not yet. We were walking back from the yacht club yesterday, and when we cross the street to go back to our neighborhood, there's an island where we must stop because traffic goes each way. So we'll cross one lane of traffic.
We're jaywalking, basically.
We're jaywalking. And then we wait on the island for the traffic to clear, come in the other direction, and then we proceed across. Well, we're sitting there, and we're standing there, actually, and we're waiting to cross, waiting for it to get a clear spot. And people are driving like banshees over there, man. You just don't walk out in the road when there's a car 100 yards away because he's probably going 90 miles an hour. You got to wait till it gets really clear. This guy comes through, and I'm a car guy, so I notice everything that drives by. Here comes an Acura NSX. It's beat to hell. NSX is actually a really neat car. I used to really like them. And the guy driving it is probably 65 years old, and he's got one of those personalized license plates.
I remember this.
And it says, on the back of the license plate with initials, it says, midlife crisis. And I was thinking, an Acura NSX, and you put midlife crisis on your license plate? I'm like, dude, you might as well have been driving a Honda Accord. If you're going to have the gall, the audacity to get a personalized vanity plate and put midlife crisis, it's going to have to be a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Ford GT40. I mean, something of merit.
What about a Ford Focus?
Ford Focus. Well, you know what? I guess everybody's midlife crisis is what they can afford it to be. But just because we're in Los Angeles.
And you see a lot of fancy cars
And
here.
you see fancy cars all the time, 250, 300,000 Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces in my driveway driven by Post Malone, Bentley GTs. You see anything and everything out here. So when you see midlife crisis on the back of the vanity plate, you're just looking for a little bit more oomph on the car. Kristin, last thing I got to cover, and just this one man, and it's normally a OMCF, a one-man cluster muck, but my wife has joined me, so it's a two-person cluster muck of just trials and tribulations, stories of living in Los Angleez. We remodel our house, as we've told you guys before, been talking about for the last year. Well, one thing we didn't do was replace our refrigerator or our trash compactor, and we didn't want to because we didn't do it. We didn't remodel our kitchen. And appliances are so goddamn expensive. What?
They are very expensive.
Yeah, so we weren't going to replace them.
Well, we slightly remodeled. We changed out the granite to make quartzite, and we redid the cabinets.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did some stuff, but we didn't do anything with our appliances.
No.
So our stove still clicks. The pilot light just keeps going while you're trying to start the thing up. It's a piece of trash, but we're cooking on it, so it's fine. And then
We're
the
starting
ice maker,
fires on it.
yeah, the ice maker don't work. Hadn't worked. Every time we get somebody to come over, the dude from Russia comes over and fixes the ice maker. And after the 5th visit, we won't let him back.
So we got a new ice maker. They're called ice trays.
And we love them. And it turns out I started cracking some ice a few weeks ago, and I was making a drink, whiskey on the rocks, and Callie comes in there. And Ted Fowler, 361 in Rockport, I just got off the phone with him. He's working hard over there. Everything's going good. It's just devastation still. His dog, Cassie, his chocolate lab loves ice cubes. So when we used to be at the Broken Skull Ranch, every time I'd make a drink, Cassie would come in there and I'd give her ice cubes.
She loves them.
She loves them. It's just like dog food to her.
Yeah.
And I was always thinking, man, it sure would be neat to have a dog that likes ice cubes. So sure enough, I'm in there rattling around on the ice cubes, and Callie's just a puppy, and she came in there, and the sound of the ice cubes and trays perplexed her. I gave her an ice cube, and she just crunched it up. And so she turns out she's an ice cube dog. So now every time I get in the refrigerator or the freezer, I give Callie 2 or 3 ice cubes. I know that's a BS story, but now I got an ice cube dog like Ted Fowler. And she's so cute when she's eating the damn ice cubes. Yeah. So the thing about the fridge, it don't work. And every time you open up the fridge, it's wow, 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 wow. I mean, it's literally that loud.
It is.
It's like someone's in there going, wow, wow. That's a rib. But it's like, and I don't know whether to replace it, and we're not going to replace it because we're not going to spend the money on it, or go to Napa Auto Parts and get a muffler for the thing. It's like, what does this thing need?
Well, between the stove, the trash compactor, and the refrigerator, we need new appliances, but it's ridiculous to have to go purchase. And the trash compactor's new, but it has never compacted anything since I've gotten it.
Well, and that's the thing, like when you pull a trash compactor open, half the time when we're in the house, Chris and I are wearing sandals. Oh. And so if you're not paying attention, or if you're watching the UCLA Texas A&M game and you open up the trash compactor too hard and your foot's in the way, the left corner of the front of that trash compactor will gouge the living crap out of your foot. So I'm like, God dang it. And Kristen goes, trash compactor got you right. And I said, yeah, how'd you know? And she comes into the kitchen, and my wife and I have matching scars on our left feet. We're opening the trash compactor. I would take a picture and post it on Instagram, except I'm so embarrassed on my feet. And my wife's trying to make me go get another.
I'm taking you somewhere special.
Where for a mani-pedi.
Mani-pedi.
But we both got matching scars on our left feet because our trash compactor is a piece of junk. And you got to wrench that thing open. Then it comes flying out and your foot's in the way. And like, ah! That'll wake you up.
Yes, it
if
will.
You was, and it's saying like, I'll go in there, like middle of the night, I'm going to put something in the trash. I'm trying to kind of remain halfway sleepy-headed so I can return to a sleep state when I get back in bed. And then when you open that thing up and it gouges open your foot, it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
The other day, Kristen said, I noticed that there was blood on the comforter. I pointed at my foot. I said, it just came here. I was laying on the bed patting the dogs. I said, it's off my foot.
Here, I'm thinking something happened to the dogs.
Yeah. Last thing, we put a concrete slab outside the office so we can have like an area to relax at nighttime.
Put some patio chairs, perhaps.
And we've been too lax and lazy to get some outdoor furniture.
Because that means you have to go shopping.
So we went out to there last night, and we were sitting on the concrete slab with a step, and I looked at my wife and said, man, we've been talking about getting outdoor furniture forever now. And I was just thinking, you know what? I wonder if Lazy Boy makes an all-weather chair. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
If I had a Lazy Boy.
You might be onto something.
I might be. Hey, Lazy Boy, if you listen to this, it's be a joint venture. The Steve Austin / Lazy Boy recliners.
All weather.
All weather. With a drink holder and a remote control holder. What do you think about that? I smell money. All right, I'm going to wrap this podcast up. Hey, I'm coming up to close the show. And video of the week, watch UCLA versus Texas A&M. I'm coming back to close this show up. Callie's sitting in the doorway. Can you hear her?
She's guarding the house.
She's guarding the house.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I took Callie to the gym yesterday. Good girl, Callie. Good girl. People always look in here because they want to see where the sound's coming from. I took Callie to the gym yesterday because I used to take Hershey to the gym with me all the time. And I took Mula the other day.
She didn't like it.
Mula doesn't like going to the gym because she's worried about what Callie's doing while she's at the gym.
And she knew I was playing with Callie in the pool.
As soon as I brought Mula home from the gym, she goes over and smells Callie. And Mula's a silver lab. And it's funny because when she gets mad,
she gets red eyes.
Her eyes get red. Her whole area around her eyes get red. And she was mad as a hornet.
Yeah, she was.
Because she knew Kristin had been in her bathing suit throwing tennis balls for Callie. And for the whole day, she was mad at me for taking away from the house. And she was mad at Kristin. She was mad at Callie.
Yeah.
So the next day I said, well, I'll take Callie to the gym. Well, this was Callie's first time to the gym. She did fine when I was lifting weights because I took a tennis ball, a water container, and a bully stick. So she lays there on the floor drinking her water and eating the bully stick. But then when I got on the treadmill, like she didn't know what was up. Why is Dad walking? But he's walking and he ain't going nowhere. So she came over and just stood right there by the treadmill, and I thought she was going to lay her head down, but then I would have peeled her back.
Right.
But she would just sit there right there by the treadmill. So I'm trying to coach Callie up to maybe be the next Hershey. I don't think she'll ever be the next Hershey.
You can't replace Hershey.
You can't replace Hershey. But I'm just trying to get a dog.
To have a companion dog.
Yeah, Hershey was a companion dog.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to train Callie.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's ride off of Sunset.
All right.
We're out.
Hello, this is Coach Jim Harbaugh with my esteemed colleague and co-host JT Rogan, and we're excited to announce our new podcast, Attack Each Day, the Harbaugh's podcast, that's coming to PodcastOne.
Each week we'll be talking to different members of the Harbaugh family, along with athletes, celebrities, and unique guests.
On different episodes, we'll have my dad Jack, my brother John, my sister Joni, my wife Sarah, and even my kids from time to time. We'll have great guests each week, and we'll attack each podcast with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Sounds pretty good to me. So join us each Tuesday on Attack Each Day, the Harbaugh's podcast here on PodcastOne. Also make sure to subscribe on PodcastOne.com, on the new PodcastOne app, or at Apple Podcasts. And Coach, who's got it better than us?
I know the answer to that, JT. Nobody.
All right, everybody, give me to go home. Q, it's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in the sunset. Before I do that, got to give you guys something to watch. If you are a football fan, man, get on YouTube or wherever you can find it and watch the instant classic UCLA Bruins versus the Texas A&M Aggies. A&M starts off the game opening up a can of whoop. Well, after UCLA puts 3 points on the board, and then they just start tearing the crap out of UCLA. Coming in the third quarter, you think UCLA ain't got a chance. All of a sudden, Josh Rosen, who was just getting decimated, smoked, crushed for an entire first half, starts lighting everything on fire, no pun intended, with respect to the fire that's going on here in Los Angleez. UCLA starts firing on all cylinders, playmakers making plays, Josh Rosen leading the charge, and UCLA's defense shutting A&M down after a quarterback change for the Aggies. And, man, all of a sudden, after a 34-point deficit or a lead established by the Aggies, here come the Bruins, tied up, point after the touchdown, win it 45-44. Probably the best football game I've seen in a long time. Certainly, it's right up there with the Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Falcons. It's probably even better than that. That's how good this game was. And like I said, I started off watching this game with casual interest, but you talk about a finish. If this would have been a pro wrestling match, it would have been absolutely spot on WrestleMania quality. That's how much I like that football game. Check it out. Before we finish the show, here's a heads up that UFC 215 is coming up this Saturday, September 9th, and it's a heck of a card, and I cannot wait. UFC's first and only flyweight champion has a chance to make history in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, as Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson defends his title against Ray Borg. Tied with Anderson Silva for most successful title defenses in UFC history, Johnson can shatter that record with just one more win. Plus, one of UFC's fiercest rivalries will be settled as Amanda Nunes defends her women's bantamweight title against Valentina Shevchenko in a highly anticipated match. I cannot wait to see this card and those two fights. UFC 215, Johnson versus Borg, is Saturday, September 9th, live on pay-per-view from Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I will be watching. You should too. All right, gang, before we wrap this thing up, got a couple of plugs. ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin. We're going to release one shirt starting next week because I've had so many requests and questions about this shirt. So all them shirts that I wore on this season's Broken Skull Challenge, they will be at ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin, and all the shirts that I'm wearing now. So the show starts, season premiere of Broken Skull Challenge, Tuesday, September 26th, 9 Central, only on CMT. Set your DVRs. This is the best season we have ever filmed. If you're thirsty, I only got the best IPA on the planet. I drank some the other day when I was doing X-Pac's show, X-Pac 12360, over there in the Valley in California. Stopped by, and they surprised me. I'm not currently drinking beer right now as I'm on a eating program, dropping some more body fat. And, man, I tell you what, I had about 3 or 4 ounces of Broken Skull IPA, and it tasted like, I can't even describe the taste. That's how good that beer was. And it wasn't just because I haven't had a beer in a while. It was that good of a batch. Shout out to El Segundo Brewing Company for staying with the task at hand, and that's making the best IPA in the United States of America. And when I say that, it's a Shoot Broken Skull IPA, best IPA you can find. You can find that beer at Whole Foods and Total Wines if you live in California. And if you can't find it there, ask a manager why they haven't got it. If you ain't in Cali, check InsideTheCellar.com and see if they ship to your state. And if you're looking for a pocket knife because everybody needs one, you can find the Cold Steel Broken Skull knife or the new Working Man knife, and you can find those at my new Amazon store. Amazon has the best price on both knives. Just go to Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin. And I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show. That is how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. And you can find all my sponsors at PodcastOne.com. Just click on the Killer Deals button at the top of the page and then click on the Steve Austin Show banner. And speaking of Podcast One is constantly looking to improve our show by making your podcasting experience even better and keeping the Steve Austin Show free to download with minimal ads. Head over to PodcastOne.com/mysurvey or go to PodcastOne.com and click on the survey banner to take a short, completely anonymous survey. The survey is less than 5 minutes of your life and will go a long way in helping us find appropriate advertisers for the Steve Austin Show. If you've done the survey before, we'd really appreciate if you did it again so we can constantly evolve and better suit your needs. Again, go to PodcastOne.com/mysurvey or go to PodcastOne.com and click on the survey banner to fill out this short, anonymous survey. Until then, folks, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch you down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.